This book would not have been written without at least two major factors: my move from Wesleyan University to Fordham and the COVID pandemic. Soon after I arrived at Fordham University, my colleague Duran Ben Atar invited me to teach a class on antisemitism. Duran teaches this course at the Lincoln Center campus, so I began to offer this class at Fordham's Rose Hill campus in the Bronx. This was fall 2016, the height of the presidential campaign. My students began to connect the rhetoric of texts we were reading about Jews and antisemitism to the rhetoric of the Trump campaign about other groups in the U.S. Then, in December 2016, the Maisel Cinema in Harlem held an advanced screening of Raoul Peck's documentary I Am Not Your Negro, centered around James Baldwin's works and words. Watching this film, and especially the clip from the 1963 PBS program The Negro and the American Promise, made for me the conceptual similarities even starker. In that PBS segment, Baldwin stated a challenge. It is entirely up to the American people whether or not they are going to face and deal with and embrace this stranger who they have maligned so long. What white people have to do is try and find out in their own hearts why it was necessary to have an N-word in the first place. Because I am not an N-word, I am a man. But if you think I am an N-word, it means you need him. If I am not the N-word here, and you invented him, you, the white people, invented him, then you've got to find out why. And the future of the country depends on that. Baldwin's quote could have been rephrased in the European context to describe the Jew. Peck's film came out 2 years after a seminal book by Sarah Lipton, Dark Mirror, The Invention of Anti-Jewish Iconography, in which she examined the invention and evolution of iconographic vocabulary to represent the Jew in European Christian visual culture. Having myself studied and written about both Christian views of Jews and the difference between the Jews created in the European Christian imagination and Jews of flesh and blood whose lives were preserved in the archives, this quote from Baldwin struck a chord. I began to explore more, not only Baldwin's writings, but also Black history in the U.S. And as I was reading books and articles on Black history, I would frequently jot down in the margins, see also Jews. There were too many of those comparisons for them to be incidental. So I began thinking about these uncanny parallels for such different populations with such different historical experiences. This would be, I imagined, a project I would take up when I retired.